As we close in on the end of 2021, we look forward to a new beginning, new adventures, new hotels. You gotta be kidding me. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Daniel, TheLandMiler, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming changes to the Marriott Bonvoy program in March of 2022 and what this could mean for your upcoming aspirational travel. If you're new to the channel, I talk about credit cards, how to fly the world in first and business class, so if you're ready to level up your travel game, definitely give this video a quick thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and turning on that notification button. So what in the world happened with the Marriott Bonvoy program overnight? Well, first off, let's tackle the most drastic change that's going to come in March of 2022. Marriott is going to be dropping their award chart and move forward into a fully dynamic redemption system. Once this kicks into action, different hotels will be able to adjust their points requirements night by night as they see fit. The silver lining is that although these changes are coming in March of 2022, we're still going to be able to book most properties between their off-peak and on-peak points bands. If we look at the award chart, that means a category 4 hotel is still going to be dynamically priced between their 17,500 and 30,000 point thresholds after March of 2022 through to the end of next year. After 2022 though, the bands won't apply at all and hotels will be able to price their hotel rooms at whatever price they want. Marriott has stated that 97% of their properties still will be able to book between their off-peak and on-peak season pricing in 2022, which means that the remaining 3%, likely a lot of high-profile properties, will be changing permanently come March of next year. Even though they haven't actually released a list of which properties will be in this 3%, it's very likely that properties like the W in the Maldives or Bora Bora will be hit with these permanent changes come March. So if you've been racking up points for that aspirational stay, it's probably best to book as of right now. Chances are there's going to be a huge rush for some of these high-profile properties. Since Marriott doesn't really punish you for booking in advance, and they have a relatively flexible cancellation policy, there really is no risk in making a speculative booking and then canceling later on if you're not going to stay at the property. We also have to ask a question. Is a points requirement that's more closely linked to the actual cash rate such a bad thing? It seems like a lot of Marriott users do only talk about the aspirational properties as opposed to some of the more economical ones. And I don't blame them because a lot of us are in the points game to obtain things that normally money can't buy or you wouldn't pay out of pocket for these experiences. Well, if we think about peak season pricing for certain hotels, I think it's inevitable that traveling during these times, the points requirement for certain hotels will definitely skyrocket. However, in the case of seasonal hotels, and I see a lot of properties in category 6 or 7 that would originally cost 50,000 or more points, sometimes during these low season periods, they would only cost $100 or $150 using a cash rate. Given that a lot of people value Marriott points between 0.9 or 1 cent per point, there's a lot of these properties that don't really make sense from a points to cash ratio. I'll use the example of some Marriott properties at Niagara Falls. During low season, even though they're a category 6 hotel, you're still going to be paying a bunch of Marriott points, but as a cash rate, there are certain times where these properties will cost less than $100 per night. If you were to look at that from a cents per point ratio, you're getting around 0.2 or 0.3. That's horrible, by the way. If there's anything positive to be said for this specific change in the program, it's that hotels that historically had a disproportional points to cash ratio might actually close the gap a bit more. Moving on from the pricing model, there are some other changes coming to the Marriott Bonvoy program, some of which are a bit more positive. Let's start with the first good update is that elite status is going to be extended for another year. Regardless of whether you earned it, whether it was last year, or if you've requalified for this year, your status is going to be extended until February of 2023. Points expiry will also be extended to December of next year. However, given a lot of the Marriott promotions that have been coming along, chances are you've probably had some activity in your Marriott account, so chances are you're not really going to be worried about this. Marriott points do expire with 24 months of inactivity, so if you're part of that small group who hasn't done any traveling or haven't earned any Marriott points, you might want to take a look at your account and have some qualifying activity before the end of next year. SNAs or Suite Night Awards and FNA Free Night Awards will also be extended to the end of June 2022. This extension is likely due to the current COVID situation because a lot of people just can't travel as of right now. Good news, of course, especially if you've been homebound and unable to use any of these awards. Last but not least, there is one interesting addition that's probably come about because of that new dynamic pricing model. Marriott has decided to make our free night certificates a little bit more flexible. Coming early next year, we will be able to add a total of 15,000 Marriott points on top of our free night certificate. For most people, this will apply most readily to the 35,000 free night awards that we get from the personal or business versions of the American Express Marriott Bonvoy cards. In my opinion, this change is 99 or 100% because of the new dynamic pricing and because they don't want to piss off a bunch of their clientele. If a hotel just so happens to move their points requirement up to 36 or 37,000 points for the night, then your 35K award night pretty much becomes useless. This change also addresses the shortcomings of a 35,000 point voucher when a Category 5 goes to its high season pricing. Although we don't know just how much the pricing will change with the new dynamic pricing, what we do know is that with the addition of this option, we can make our free night award a little bit more flexible. But if there is a period that we can apply 15,000 points to our free night vouchers before the dynamic pricing, then we can technically redeem a Category 7 hotel during off-peak season or a Category 6 hotel during off-peak and normal season. For Canadians, this means booking a night at the JW Marriott in Muskoka or the Westin at Blue Mountain without forking over 50,000 points per night. If you're wondering how to feel about all these changes, I definitely think there are some silver linings, but overall a definite devaluation. Although Marriott is just doing the same as IHG or Hilton that have decided to switch to a completely dynamic model, it is sad to see the largest of the hotel chains follow suit in this case. The only good thing is that they're giving us plenty of time to make our bookings before these changes. Even though the prices will become dynamic as of March of 2022, 97% of the properties will remain between their low season and high season pricing bands. This means for the most part next year, you won't be looking at a redemption and be wondering why the price increased so astronomically. With the new dynamic pricing structure though, it does mean that properties like the Al Maha in Dubai or the W in the Maldives will see a pretty sizable price increase. So if those kinds of properties are what you were looking for in the Marriott Bonvoy program and they were the reason why you signed up for this loyalty program, chances are it's time right now to start making those bookings. Since you can pretty much book a year out using Marriott points and you're not going to be punished for canceling that same redemption, it's probably better to book now and cancel later if needed. If the dynamic pricing means you're going to be getting a better rate, you can always cancel the hotel and rebook at the lower price. Just a pro tip though, if you aren't booking 5 or more nights or taking advantage of Marriott's 5th night free, chances are you probably want to be booking each night separately on points. This way, when dynamic pricing comes out, you can technically look at each individual night, and if the price does increase for that night, you can cancel that specific night and rebook without having a huge headache of having only one reservation. For me, I've already secured a few nights at the Al Maha property in Dubai, and I'm keeping a close eye on certain Category 7 properties for their low season pricing dates. Once the option of adding those 15,000 points to a free night award comes in, I'm likely going to be booking some of those Category 7 properties. If there's no low season pricing, then a Category 6 hotel will work as well and would be a nice upgrade from a 35,000 point night just by adding a couple thousand Marriott points. I'm also pretty happy that they did decide to extend elite status for another year, although it is a worry of mine that they will soon be diluting that status in the upcoming months or years. There was some speculation on a survey that the US Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant is going to be offering platinum status automatically for cardholders. For current platinum or above status holders, this might mean more competition for upgrades and so forth. Only time will tell how this will play out, but it does suck somewhat for those who have taken the liberty of regaining their platinum or titanium status for the next year. So, if you're a degenerate hoarder like me, you definitely gotta get past that mentality and start making those aspirational bookings for next year before it's too late. More realistically though, you've definitely gotta make those bookings before everyone else finds out about these changes and starts making their bookings as well. And if you do end up sitting with a bunch of Marriott points with an impending price increase but no availability to book, well, don't say I didn't warn you. These changes also warrant a look at your overall strategy when earning Marriott points. Cards like the Amex Cobalt, Amex Gold, and Platinum cards all have a transfer partner to Marriott at a 1 MR to 1.2 Marriott ratio. Now, many of us have transferred MR points over to Marriott in the speculation that we will be able to get significantly more value by booking these aspirational properties. As of right now, we can use our MR points to write off any purchase at a 1 cent per point ratio. Depending on how these changes go, it might actually end up making 0 cents to transfer your MR points into Marriott Bonvoy. If you're not going to be getting over 1 cent per point transferring into Marriott, you're going to actually be ending up losing value when compared to making a cash booking. On top of that, cash rate bookings also earn points on your credit card. You can also use websites like Rakuten, whether it's on the Canadian or US side, you can earn US MR using that. And at the same time, if you're booking through Marriott directly, you can also earn Marriott points that way. If you have something like titanium status, you're going to be earning 17.5 Marriott points per USD. So if the value per point isn't really there with Marriott, then it's going to be even less desirable to transfer our MR to that program. On top of that, when you compare the fact that Cobalt can now transfer to Aeroplan, which historically, if you're booking for business or first class travel, is going to get you 3, 4, 5, 10 cents per point, it really doesn't make sense now to transfer a lot of your points over to Marriott Bonvoy. I'm going to say this right now, if those changes are one for the worse in any significant matter, you're probably going to see a lot of consumers completely avoiding that transfer path from MR to Marriott Bonvoy points. And I think there's a word that they use to describe this. Oh yeah, Bonvoid. If you like today's topic and would like to support the channel, a great way would be to give this video a quick thumbs up and subscribing to the channel for even more travel hacking content. If you want to go above and beyond with supporting, I am going to be launching a Patreon page sometime in the future, and on that page I'm going to be discussing a bunch of secret techniques, so definitely stay tuned for that. My question for you this time is, what property are you going to be looking at booking under Marriott before the new changes in March of 2022? Let me know in the comments down below. That's all for today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.